I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. I'm all fine now. All fine.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So
How
good
are you
evening,
all?
Ami ma'am. We are fine, ma'am, and it will be a kind of reiteration for you, I
Yes.
believe. Always good.
Definitely.
Yes.
Very true. No. So looking forward for the session.
All right. So good evening, Monica and Preeti, and I am Ritu Madan, and very nice, introduction given. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the nice introduction. So I'll just share my screen and without wasting any more time, and I'll start my presentation. Just give me you're able to see my screen, everybody? Give me a thumbs up. Thank
Yes,
you so
ma'am, now we do.
much. All right. So before I start the session, let's have a kind of introduction. So you see, I always, this is something which I keep in my mind, and this is something which guides me in my teaching. So I'm going to read this, and I want everybody to focus. What do you understand from it? And I want Ami ma'am to just hold her. She can share. I would love to hear her. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. So I want all of you to just pour in your ideas. What do you understand from this quote? You can write in the chat. All of you are there. Preeti, Monica, Ami ma'am, you all can write whatever you have understood from this particular quote. I would love to see. Okay, there's somebody. Yes. Just take 30 seconds and write in the chat what you have understood. Or you want to speak, you can speak as well.
Yeah. Can I?
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
mean, for me, it is no hands-on activities. I mean, when children use their senses to learn any concept, they will forever, lifelong, they will remember it. No,
Okay, so you
rather
mean to
than
say if
just
they are experiencing it, they will be the lifelong nurse. Excellent.
learn.
Yes. Anybody else would like to share? You can write in the chat and you can unmute yourself and share your ideas. All right.
Ma'am, Monica ma'am is saying through the activities, learning by doing, students can learn much better.
I can't see her chat. Yeah.
She actually shared it with me, that's why.
Okay, so can you repeat?
Through the activities, learning by doing, students can learn much better.
Absolutely. Good job. Anybody else? Anybody else has written? All right. So I think what Ami ma'am and Monica, right? Monica has said is absolutely bang on. So why I bring this quote, because as I said, I always guide my lesson plan. Being an educator, you have passion for it. You want to make your lesson plans. So whenever I do something, there is something in your mind, you keep in your mind, this is something is my guiding light. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember, involve me, and I learn. And this actually sums up what Ami ma'am said and what Monica said and what I believe in. It's learning by doing. So what is learning by doing? It is experiential learning. Experiential learning is learning through experience and reflection. So your learning cannot complete without reflection. Now let's see what is the cycle of experiential learning. Now in the experiential learning, as I said, it is learning by doing. Your first thing that comes is having or giving them as a facilitator. In this particular cycle, a teacher is not a teacher, a facilitator. So children will have a kind of concrete experience. That means they will have an actual experience. Once the child has the actual experience, they will try to reflect on it. They will use their prior knowledge. They have certain, we all have prior, some knowledge are schemas in our mind that we have learned. So they'll use their prior knowledge and they'll reflect on their observation of whatever they have experienced. Once they do that, next is they will form, they will actually learn from the experience. Once they learn, they will try to apply in different situations and the scenarios what they have learned. Now, this cycle goes on. This is the cycle of experiential learning. I learn, I reflect, I form a kind of learning in my mind, and then I try that learning. All right. Now, this pyramid is learning pyramid. Now, this is something, I've also attended a lot of workshops, and this actually clicks me. So whenever, I want to present, I definitely present this learning pyramid, and this tells us why experiential learning. So, for example, we do a kind of involvement. We involve the child or children in verbal receiving, visual receiving, receiving and participating and doing for 2 weeks. Now let's see what is the progress. They tend to remember only 10% of what we read. The reading, they only remember only 10%. What they hear, the hearing words, 20% they remember. 30% if I see a lot of pictures with the reading. 50% if it is visual, that means I hear and see. 70% when I am receiving, but at the same time, I am also participating in the discussion. I'm having a talk, I'm having a discussion with the peer. Then my learning, or as a child, my learning is 70%. 70% of what, if I am receiving and I get a chance to speak, I remember that at 70% level. 90% when I am actually involved, when I'm actually engaged, when I'm actually doing it. Probably I'm doing a presentation, I'm having a kind of real-time experience, I'm doing the experiment. I will be remembering that for 90% when I am saying as well as doing. Just a second. Now I want everybody, let's have a self-reflection. I want you to just wear your thinking hats, all right? Let's wear our thinking hats and try to recall your most impactful learning experience. We all were students, and try to recall your best learning experience. Anybody would like to share? That will give us a kind of, way to the next slide. You can have, a good experience. Probably when we try to trickle our brain, okay, and let me see what I liked, what I can remember from my childhood days, my school days, my college days, that actually impacts. Still I remember. Anyone?
Yeah, I would like to share, like in ninth standard, no, science subject. So
Hmm.
our teacher had told us for the first time, that was there, in so many years of learning in school. She had asked us to get a flower, hibiscus flower.
Lovely. Yeah.
And that's very common, no? How you see the petals and the seeds and every part, like we had to open it to check. So that is
Hmm.
so imbibed, and we thoroughly enjoyed that session, no?
Hmm. Hmm.
Otherwise, being an SSC student, it was always rote learning, rote learning. So this
Absolutely.
was
Absolutely.
absolutely something different that science teacher did, and that love for learning. I think
Hmm.
that was the time I think I really enjoyed, and that love for learning happened, no? So,
Okay. I'll ask you a next question.
yes,
Uh, okay. It's a very direct question. What, I know what answer you will give me, but I want you to give me that answer. Why do you think that has an impact? What was different?
what was different? All of us had carried that hibiscus flower individually as per the instructions. We were
Absolutely.
touching, feeling, what, seeing, removing every petal to see what is inside that those seeds, and feel
Lovely.
that stem. So
Hmm.
absolutely, whatever teacher was talking, 100% we were involved in that activity.
Absolutely. Don't you think it is the last part of the pyramid?
Absolutely
90% I say and I do, right? Now
right.
that was a lovely experience. I think I also remember something like this when I was a child. I don't remember my any other teacher, but I remember a teacher who was different. She used to make the environment of the class different. Experience was different. It was altogether a different class, and we used to look forward to that class, right? Now, taking that as an inspiration, you know, how can we bring that, what I have experienced or what Ami ma'am has experienced or probably Minakshi has experienced, how that, taking that as an inspiration, how can we bring that feeling that Ami ma'am had, feeling that I had, or feeling that anybody had in our classes? That should be the motivation as an educator, that what I experienced, I want my children to experience, right? And always remember the 90% what I say and do. All right. Now, just a second. Yeah. Before I am here for this experiential learning and creative teaching strategy. Now, I want to move to this, but before that, making the class alive, I want you to consider certain points. The key factors which should be considered to maximize the effectiveness of any session. Every teacher, we have that, my session should go well, right? We always go with that vigor, enthusiasm, our lesson plans in place, our resources in place. And I want, as an educator, we are honest to our profession and we want the session or the period to go very well. So there are certain points, I'm sure you all must be doing it, but let's have a, kind of discussion on this. And if you have a question, you can ask in the end. So whenever we prepare for a session for a topic, whether it's Hindi, math, English, science, we always look for what is the learning outcome, right? Or why I am doing this session, what students will get from this particular session. We need to start planning backwards. Now, when you are taking this into consideration, always keep that pyramid in mind. Always keep that pyramid in mind, because from there your thinking starts. If my topic is this, can I bring in something which will fit in my 90% what I say and do? That will give you a motivation of bringing lot of hands-on activities. Second is, ask yourself, is it going to generate the curiosity? Because I want my children to be engaged all through, right from the beginning. How can I make these kids, these small kids or bigger kids are kids, curious? What can be the hook so they are hooked to the session? Core, that was the introduction. If I'm talking about the beginning, that's the introduction. What I should do, what hook should I use to generate the curiosity or to capture their attention? Core, middle part, think how can I make it engaging in a very simple way? How can I trigger their understanding? How can I trigger their thinking? Your core should have something that not only, make them curious, but they're able to understand. Plus, it actually, something they start thinking. It is triggering their thinking, their brain. Now, last part is your assessment of learning. Some people call it AFL. Yes, it has to be there. We can use different ways to assess their understanding, right? How much they have learned. Last part, always end with a reflection. Now, reflection, what do you understand? Is it only for the students? No, it is not only for the students, but for the teacher as well. Because when you do a session, you should always go back. What went well? What I can do better? Next time, what I should remember so that I can do it better. So these are the points which I feel, this is coming not from anywhere. The experiences that we had, these points are coming, here, what I have experienced. Now, this thing, when you are a teacher, you will feel, okay, I have to make a lesson plans. There's a time plan. There are a lot many things happening. But in the beginning, it looks little difficult, but it becomes a routine. Whenever you are making lesson plan, automatically these things, come in your mind once you start doing it. Now let's come to experiential learning, and I'll tell you some of the strategies which I have done, because I have evidence that yes, these strategies do work. So that is why I have put some pictures also with the strategies, so that you get an idea how it is done. Yes, I'm a primary teacher, so some of the strategies are for the primary level, but with a little bit of tweaking, you can use it in the high school or pre-primary. Yes, you can use them. Now, this is called exploration setup. Now, what happens in this? It's a very, very interesting one. So, you want to start a topic in math or in science. Don't introduce the topic. Just create few stations. Here, I was talking about forces, push and pull. I'm telling you, but I did not tell the kids. And I created few stations. I let them explore. Let them explore, and you just be a facilitator. Let them explore, let them come back to the class and have a second part of my experiential learning cycle. After the concrete experience, let them reflect on their observation with one open-ended question, which is, what did you observe? And you don't have to do anything. The children will start talking. Keep jotting down, keep making mind map on the board, and then join the dots. You will find all the keywords that you want to teach. Children are speaking that this happened with me. Now, this is one exploration setup of science. You can do it in math. For example, you want to teach about measurement. Let's create separate stations for measurement. Don't tell them that this is length or this is weight or capacity, or you want to do it for money, or you want to do it for any other topic. Just create stations, let them explore, let them talk to each other, what is happening, what did you see, and then they come back with their wondering questions, as well as they have those keywords, and this will be whenever your unit is going on, they will reflect, or they will go back to those examples which you have introduced in your exploration setups. Ma'am, we did this when you started the topic. So this is that, it will become so smooth. You don't have to put much effort when introducing these topics in math or English. Even we can try in English, but yes, we have to think. Coming to experimentation, always, when the word comes experimentation, yes, it's science. True, it's science, but can we do it in math? Anybody? Can we just think out of the box, and can we do it in math? Yeah. So I just thought of this idea. Yes, this is science, but can we do it in math? Why not? If I'm teaching a child, I'll again take the example of capacity and weight, right? I want to make a potion. Okay, I want to make a potion with a vinegar, with liquid soap, and you have to put the measurement, some ml, some grams. So here they're learning. Whatever they have learned will come into real life situation. And the kind of fun they will have when they create the potion, the physics potion, and when it bursts, the learning will be there, because I put 4.95 ml of baking this liquid soap. I put this much vinegar, the half, or probably, the non-standard units will also come into picture. So why not? Experimentation can happen in math. And if you go to senior classes, I believe experimentation is everywhere in math. Teaching strategies, role play. If I'm playing a role, I will be knowing each and everything about. If I'm playing a role of thing, I will be knowing everything about it. If I'm playing a character, I would love to know about that character more than my teacher, because I have to play that role. So role playing is something which children, really love. And I really get an idea if history is taught that way, where teacher come up with something, role play and becoming characters. It will be, the children will learn more. I mean, this is just out of the box idea, but yes, role play, very, very good strategy to make the children learn more than you. Actually, they will research, they will find out, and they will present that, whatever role they are playing in a very, very nice manner. Field trips, yes, I'm sure you will be doing, but you need to see. I just want to highlight on this. Field trips should not be like, you're going anywhere. It should be related to your topic, and choose the wherever you're going in a very thoughtful manner. There are virtual field trips also. So there is a site called AirPano. If you want to teach about, 10 wonders of the world, why not go to AirPano? It will give you the 360 view of all the 10 wonders of the world. I want to teach about France. Let's go to Airpano, or there is a Google Expedition app. You can go there and it also gives you 360 view, and it feels as if you are at that place. I mean, we can have virtual trips. Thanks to COVID, we are coming up with all those, things, integrating technology a lot. Coming to reflection, learning, your experiential learning, your hands-on learning cannot complete without reflection. Reflection can be an exit ticket. Probably it's an open-ended, or probably I'm giving a question. What did you learn? Give me 2 stars and one wish. The wish will give me what they want to learn next. 2 stars will tell me what was the highlight of the session. So all these things, again, it's not only students' reflection, it's your reflection also, what I need to improve. You have your success criteria. Now, success criteria checklist, what I did, this can be done at the end of the unit. This will give you an idea of what the child has learned, where they are facing challenge, where I need to support them, when I need to scaffold the child. Now, entry ticket, I really use it and I really love it, where as I said, there are certain factors. So whenever you decide the topic, you see the pyramid and then you say, what strategy can I apply? As per the topic, probably the research strategy, where I give I give the topic to the child, and the child goes and do the research. It can be they can talk to the any elder. They can have a, under the supervision of any adult, they can do the research work. They can read the book and they can come back and present. You will be surprised the kind of research work. If the little ones can do it so well, the elder ones, I don't know what they will do. I had the session. If I keep on talking about it, I'll take the 40 minutes, Meenakshi. So it was such an amazing session where the children had spoken so much. Then I had to tweak my plan, that what next should I teach them. It was so amazing. They added so much information. Then I had to challenge myself that I need to actually tweak the plan so that they learn more than what they know. Coming to traffic organizers, absolutely. Because if you see in the senior classes, graphic organizers, more than this, lot of graphic organizers, flowcharts are used. And if we start right, right from the beginning, it will organize their thoughts. Mind maps, very good way to organize your thoughts. You want to check their prior knowledge, let them write the topic in the center and their ideas on the sides. Venn diagrams, you want to compare two things, compare and contrast. Let's make the Venn diagram. KWLs is something, which gives you the reflection after the session, plus what they already know. What they already know, what I want to know, and what I learned. So when you make a KWL chart, their prior knowledge, what they already know, will come, what I already know. You give the chits and they will write. They will make the, format like this, which I have put here. You give the topic, they will write whatever they know about the topic in this particular column. Now, encourage them what you really want to know. Something more you want to know? Anything you wonder about this topic? They will definitely write. The kids are amazing, they think more than us. They will write some amazing questions, and this again give us the reflection of tweaking our plans accordingly. Now, when you keep it in the notebook, okay? Keep this page in the notebook, first page. Once you are done with the session, come back and tell them, tick your wondering questions. Your wondering questions answered? They will tick, yes, ma'am, this question answered. Anything which is not answered, you can discuss then and there. And finally, you tell them, you illustrate or, write what you have learned. Now here a differentiation comes into picture. Probably some children, they want to write. Some children, they really don't want to write. They want to speak up. They will say, ma'am, I don't want to write. I just want to speak up. I can speak about it. I have understood. Let them speak. There are some kids, probably they say, I want to show it with a lot of illustrations. Let them do it. You just want your goal is to make the child understand. Obviously, they will write, but let's start from here and then encourage them towards writing. Now you have told me what you have learned. Can we try to, put in words, few words, or you have illustrated so well. Can you label it for me? So you are achieving your goal as well. You have to move them towards writing, I know, but at the same time, you are understanding the child. Then child will have the trust of yours and will also understand. Poster making, amazing. You are integrating. Now, another strategy is integrating different subjects. Art, music, technology, ICT. Why not? This actually brings the session alive. Why not we make posters and present and create a campaign for saving electricity and water? Why not I was doing English instructional text. So instructional posters. So I did two things. So I wanted them to create a instructional poster or text, I would say, first text for laminate. So what we did, we made the laminate first. It was hands-on activity. We did laminate activity. We created, they drank. And after that, I did not tell them anything. They wrote, they said, ma'am, we'll write and we'll create a kind of, illustrations also, what we have done here. So it was nothing I did. I just facilitated with some spellings, obviously, if the little ones are there, but they created the whole thing. I want to color it. Then it turned into a proper instructional poster. So why not we do that? I mean, just we need to take everything where a child is involved. Think our first experience, Amy ma'am's first experience, Ritu's first experience, or anybody else. How did I feel when I touched? I felt I was given an opportunity to experience it. That's it. Now, this is very interesting one. So I saw this movie Castaway. So I remembered, how was it? So I thought, why not I introduce a topic of survival needs with the help of a video clip? And I did it actually. So I played this clip for 2 minutes. It was about a courier guy stranded on an island. So they saw the clip and they were like, what he will do? Where is his phone? How will he contact? What he will drink? It's a salty water. What he will eat? Clothes and everything. I just said, what did you observe? And everything, all the survival needs, the basic needs came on the board. So just a trigger. Again, I'm talking about the hook. This is what I'm talking about. So when you are planning a session, think, how can I generate a curiosity? This was the curiosity. This was the example of the curiosity. Now, if we can have images, you want to introduce something in English, inference. Why can't we have a picture and let the children talk? I guess all these words will come and these are the starters for the inference, right? Coming to, yeah. So Dr. Seuss made a movie long back in 60s. I used that movie to talk about deforestation, and that movie was way ahead of its time. When they saw the movie, it was half an hour movie. I kept the session half an hour for the movie. I wanted children to reflect. It was way ahead of its time, and it gave the idea about, what will happen, climate change, deforestation, everything came into picture. So using such things creatively can work wonders. This is what I feel. Nature walks. Now, when we look at nature walks, okay, science. No. Math also nature walk. I'm talking about shapes. I'm talking about patterns. Math is all about shapes, patterns. Art, yes, we use math in art also, right? So nature walks we can use for, in math also. I gave the idea for patterns and shapes. Why not? Money, let's go to a field trip. Let's do exchange of money. Let's create that. Why not? So this is the pictures of science, but for math also it really works. Guest speaker can work in any subject, but it has to be interactive. Then it works really well. When you are choosing the guest speaker, you really need to know how is the speaker and whether the session will be interactive, because children, because the children like to have a lot of interaction. Okay, there are some other strategies. Think, pair, and share, where we allow children peer learning, lot of peer learning. Let them work in groups. Let them work in pairs. Peer tutoring, where there are children raising each other, means helping each other to learn. This one, feely bags, I'm sure you know magic bags when you take out stuff. Zoom in and zoom out is a very interesting activity. It is again for the hook where you keep the puzzle. I created online, covered the picture. I wanted to teach about ladybugs. I covered the picture. I started opening the layers, and there was lot of knowledge generation because looking at the part, they were speaking so many things. So you got to know what they are capable of, and their language development is also happening over there. Beat the teacher is a very good strategy where you want to know how much is their understanding. You do the mistake on the board. If the child is pointing out your mistake, that means your job is actually done. That then you understand, I think this child has done because pointing out the mistake. All are saying, ma'am, I think you have not written that or you have done that mistake. I understand that the child has the understanding. Peer tutoring, I have already spoken. Integration with technologies, there are a lot many things that we can use for assessment. Quizzes, we can create quiz. For hook, we can use Kahoot. Interactive games. Spin wheel is a very good option, not only for checking their understanding, but also for like popsicle sticks. You can use spin wheel for class management. Padlet, Padlet, if you explore, you can use it for so many things, not only reflection, but if you're talking about countries, there is an option. Please explore Padlet. Digital story in language. If you want them to create a story, why not create them on a story jumper, sorry, story jumper. It is an online, you can create the story in the form of a book. There are other sites also. I use story jumper. Okay, culminate your sessions. Let them create something, create a model. For example, I'm talking about 3D shifts. Let's create a 3D city. So they're coming near to the real life situations. If I've learned about materials, let me create a toy for a baby. Why not? I'm using my knowledge, whatever I have learned, I am actually reflecting on my learning. Assessments, I always said I already said about differentiation. You cannot make a fish, you know, climb the tree or an elephant climb the tree. Skills are different. So differentiation is very, very important. If have a level sheets, level one, level two, level three, level one, I mean, scaffolding is required, level three, where you want to challenge the, if you're doing sheets, you want to challenge the students, or keep the sheets ready where the children are done. Let me give challenges, different challenges to different children, or have a choice board where you give the child choice to the child how they want to present their learning. Probably I want to sing a song, I want to write, I want to act it out, I want to speak it out. Give them a choice board. So my reflection, yes, all these strategies definitely foster deeper understanding, creativity, and teamwork. But please keep in mind the points which I've said in the beginning, and availability of resources. Thoughtful planning comes from those points which I have mentioned, the key factors. And then your session is where the feeling which you had when you experienced your first lovely learning experience. Ami ma'am will remember this, right? Okay, now I'll just over to Minakshi. Now, what she will do, I have told you the strategies. She has applied, how she has used these strategies in a lesson plan. She'll take you forward. Okay, Minakshi,
Yes,
share.
thank you so
What do
much, Ritu. Your sessions are always very, very engaging. Her enthusiasm, her energy level, got it, will really has hooked us till now. So, yes, can you please help me, Ritu, in presenting
Yeah,
the
I'll share.
PPT?
I'll share.
So, already there has been a lot of sharing and insightful information which she has you know, done through her PPT. So I'll be just taking you through one of the lesson which I have done in science related to a lot of strategies which she had shared. So, ma'am, can you just proceed further? So I'll just give you again how the quote itself suggests that Education is not, the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. We all are facilitators, we all are educators. Our time of education was very different. Hardly we used to open our mouth and, ask questions. It used to be, four walls and less of hands-on experiences, touching. But nowadays, today's world is, all about learning through, experiences. Um, Teachers these days, the educators these days, our goal is not only just to teach, but to, inspire in the sense of curiosity, experiential learning. So our objective is not only to teach, but also through our experiences that we are generating in the class, it helps the students to gain a lifelong experience. So can you proceed, ma'am, further? So this is basically the lesson plan that we make in our school. We give a lot of, I mean, like, now the new academic session will start. We'll be sitting, we will be, checking out small details, because it is very important. If the teacher is not prepared for the class, it is difficult to keep them engaged. So when I was, now the topic that I have taken in science was living and non-living thing. So I'm talking about grade 1. They have just progressed from senior KG and they've come to stage 1. So we are both are handling Cambridge. So we call it as stage 1. So there, how to introduce the topic of living things. So I just sat, the skills that the children will be learning would be, observation, how they will be learning this through observation skill. I'll be telling you how I did this in the class. Classification skills, sorting, communication, creative thinking, critical thinking, and how, as a teacher, I'll be proceeding to hone, to polish these skills. Obviously there are a lot of lists, but believe me, this is almost a 5-day plan. You cannot achieve it in one single day. So what method technology I used was experiential learning, some hands-on activity, multisensory. All right, children of this age is very curious, right? So why not tap that by, I see, I think, I wonder. Collaboration, they love beautifully with their peers, group work, and then again, how you lead into an inquiry based learning. So I'm just giving you one, topic. Yes, ma'am. Go further, Ritu. So this is how I introduced. We have already done this. We can skip that slide. This one we have already done a lot. You have explained a lot. So I'm going further. So just stop. So I was telling them that before introducing them to living and non-living thing, there was just a prior knowledge test. I just sat, in the class, and I was just talking about what do you mean by the word survive? It was a very big, heavy word for them. So they were like, ma'am, survive as in, I was like, how can we live? So there were, a lot of ideas which children were talking about, okay, I live with my parents, and then, I go out, I walk, I move, I jump, I breathe. I was like, how can you survive? So after talking about human, they, when it came to animal, they started talking about that my animal, my I have a pet, I have a fish, I have a dog, I have a cat at home. So how do they, are they living, or do they survive? How do they survive? They also need, they are also in this world. So they talked about, yes, I have a pet, I feed them, I take them out for a walk. I was like, okay, so let's watch a video of a, animal. So can you please play that, Ritu?
Video is attached to it, ma'am.
Yes, okay. If not,
Can
then
you
you
play
can.
the video? I
No, I don't think so. I'll share my screen. Can you
Yeah,
just stop playing?
yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that. Mm, just give me a minute. Just let me know if you're able to see the screen. Mm, this again. Ritu, can you now
Yeah, I'll
able
see
to?
if I can play. Yes, I'll
All
play.
right.
I'm
Just
just
taking a few
opening it.
slides.
Just a second.
So this was the video which I showed to my grade one.
Yeah, I'll just show it. Can you see it? Can you see the video?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute video. I'll not be playing the full video. They were very engrossed. They were watching. They were able to relate that they had pets at home. Few intend to take, get new pets. All right. Let me just stop the presentation. Yes. So after this, are you still able to see?
Yeah, I'm sharing my
Right? Yeah.
screen. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, so after that, I told them that I have the same pet inside my bag. They're like, really, ma'am? Because as I told you, they are very curious, and you need to go to their level to introduce few things to them to develop that curiosity. It's like, no, ma'am, we cannot hear. There is no a sound of the dog. So I said, no, 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 I have. So I just opened my bag and I just showed them. See, I try to manage the same matching dog. I said, see, hi. They're saying hi to you, grade one. And they're like, no, they were very disappointed at the first go. They're like, ma'am, this is not the same. You're just, fooling us and all that. It's like, no, no, it's the same. It's like, no, ma'am, they cannot walk. This dog cannot walk on its own. So I was like, see, I'm making the dog walk. So they're like, no, ma'am, that dog is not walking on its own. It's you who are moving the dog. I was like, that's what, living things do. They move on their own, like how we move, how this dog is moving. So from that, not telling them the basic differentiation or the classifications, just with the help of getting this dog and showing a visual with them and connecting them to the real world situation. I said that, what, yes, living things can move on their own, like how your pet, your parents, right, your friends, how do we move you, like, but non-living things like this cannot move. For them to move, we have to move them. So from there, this idea clicked, right? And after discussion, we just made a mind map. Unfortunately, my hard drive crashed, so I don't have many supporting, evidences to show you. But a few I could manage and gather, which I've put presented in my PPT. So that's how it is. We just started, introduce. This is called as tuning into the concept. Yes, after the mind map, we were just all writing. They can move on their own. They can breathe. Whatever they have seen in the picture, they were having babies. That's what children were telling me. They were drinking their mama's milk. So all that thing which a human being can do, they were able to, relate, recall. I was writing down, and then later on, when I told them, what about plants? Someone told, ma'am, plants, are they, living thing? Can they move? And they said, no, not at all. They cannot move. We give them water. That's how they are growing, but they cannot move. I was like, okay, but there are few plants. So it was really, I mean, like they were not willing to understand that. Then again, with the help of some visual aid and some hands-on activity, that's how I taught them that, look around things which can move on their own. When I was making that mind map, we were just also jotting down and playing the PPT that things around us move on their own are humans, birds, animals, and butterfly. Can you go, ma'am, to the next slide? When it comes to, plant, they were not willing to understand, not willing to even, listen to me that plants can move on their own. So I again showed them this video.
Did it
This is
start or
about a
it's not?
plant, and again, I have to share
Oh,
my screen. So this is
yeah,
about a
yeah, yeah.
plant, a
Yes,
drooping
yes.
plant. There is no water, and it just droops down, and when the sun rises, it starts showing sign of life. It starts little moving. So I told them they cannot move just like Meenakshi ma'am, just like your pet, your parents, but there are very subtle movement that happens with the plants. And I got my own plant from my house. It was about touch me not. They were very excited that even few plants can feel your touch. You touch and the leaves close. So all that thing. And then there were few children who were talking about Venus trap, because thanks to the advent of technology, they keep seeing Dr. Binoc. Most of the time, half of them, they have become our mini teachers more than us. They impart these lovely information to us. So that's how it started. And Ritu, can you just continue
Yeah,
with the PPT?
sure, sure.
So from there, a lot of about things about plants, that they are living, and they also can move, but move towards the direction of the sunlight. And then talking about something which is not alive, something which doesn't have the senses, something which cannot move on their own. So I just again took the same dog, and I said, okay, drop it down, will it pain, will that dog feel the pain? So they, no, 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 ma'am, not at all. But it's like, if I touch you, if I squeeze you, pinch you, obviously we are human, we have senses, so we will feel the touch, and we will feel the pain. That's how they were able to understand the difference between living and non-living thing. They grow. Now, with this, I took an experiment. Can you go to the next slide? So this is all when we were discussing about living things can grow, living things cannot grow, living things can breathe. We can breathe. Our, plants, our animals, they all breathe. This is all when we were talking about the classification. So this is the second period. It doesn't happen exactly in the first period. I was not able to cover so many things, but eventually in the second or the third class, I asked them to let's go for a nature walk. How Ritu has mentioned in her teaching, the delivery that she has given, that it is very, very important to sensitize children around the world. So I said, let's go. Since you know a little bit about living and non-living thing, let's explore our surrounding. Let's go out. And beautifully, we in our school there are more than 200 trees. So I said, come on, let's go out. And they just took their notepads and a notebook, and with a pencil, I said, let's go out. So we just went for a nature's walk. Yes, next slide. So I asked them to closely observe, think what all can they see while, going on a nature's walk. So you can see the children so intrigued and, so fascinated with the small things which are moving around, the plants. Even they could see the millipedes walking. And in our campus we also have pets, we have rabbit, we have birds, quail and all. So they were observing whatever they learned in the classroom. Now this is the time when they were moving out of the classroom, right, having a real life experience. So that's all. And when they got back, I asked them to reflect. I asked them to think of few objects, few things which you could feel were living thing. Now, since they were, they're sixth graders, if you know the spellings, please go ahead. I'm not going to judge you if your spelling is, wrong. I asked them, you can also illustrate. So that's a beautiful reflection of my students after the nature's walk. And can you just share the next slide? So this is, all that they did after the nature's walk, under living and non-living thing, whatever they have seen, observed, touched, felt, grass, living thing, that they saw. And we also have, as I told you, pet in the school. So they must have seen, hen, and something which is not alive, the rock in the school. They also saw a spider web. Spider is living because it was moving on their own, but the web was not moving. It's just because of the legs, the moving. So they drew that. So it was, as a teacher, I was very happy to see that something which has come through the experiential learning, they were reflecting. Now coming to, how they are alive, how do they grow? I just connected them with a small experiment. I asked them to just get moong dal from home. And as a school, we provide the basic resources, the cup and everything. So I told that, Gillette in one, we made two. We labeled it as A and B. I said in A cup, we just put some seed and we're going to put it inside the cubby hole. There will be no air, there will be no light, and we will not water it for a week. I was like, let's see. And the other one, we are going to put it outside. So I should be saying that, when I was doing this, I could see the students rather than, uh, obviously they are curious, but they took on the responsibility so well. I remember I missed one day. I was not well. I didn't come, but they remember the responsibility of giving the seed, which I've kept outside, little water. So, and at the same time, they were also recording. I told them to record. Children went with the scale. They were measuring the length of, how much it has, from the seed, what has come first, what erupted first, the root or the leaf, the length. So they were all recording. So there was an experiment. Then they did. There was a responsibility attached throughout the week, and then they planned it and recorded everything. So that's how the same topic, how Ritu has told different strategies. I'm talking about living and non-living thing. One simple lesson, how I, added all these different strategies later on after doing this experiment. Since they recorded, they wrote in their notebook that the one which was inside the cubby did not grow at all. The seeds were just like that, and the one which was outside grew to 8 centimeters, 6 centimeters, because living things, they need water, they need air to grow, and otherwise they're going to die. Nothing is going to happen, right? So that's how they learnt about, through the help of an experiment. One more thing which you can do could be, after making them understand the difference, is reflection. So I just asked them to get some pictures and just, think and pair, because many times I have seen there are multiple level of children in your, class. There are few who don't even speak up, right? They are very timid, they are very shy. Many times you have to encourage them to speak. So I just always group them with the one who are always, their hands is always up. How many times you ask them to, put their hands up? Their two hands sometimes go. They are so excited and enthusiastic to answer first. I paired them and I said, let's do, a think, pair, and share activity. I gave them some cutouts, and I asked them to, sort it out. It could be done through this way. It could be a puzzle, making them into a group and, writing their group name and just playing that puzzle. Is it living thing? Is it non-living thing? So it helps, with the help of the pairs, they learn, they understand, they reflect well. Yes, Ritu, next. So this is again a strategy which he has already thrown a lot of light. So I'm not taking it up again. Same thing, sorting center, and something which, as a teacher, I just love doing. Yes, provided you have the time in hand, is integration of technology, integration of subjects, which helps in a very deeper understanding. So I said, why not song? Why not music? Children, they love singing a song. So I integrated the same concept of living and non-living thing with a song. So I requested my music sir, Mr. Dexter. So I picked up, a song from the YouTube. I said, can you just tweak it little, make it little simple? And they were learning in the music class, and they were enjoying, thinking about the experiments and the nature's work. So it was very overwhelming to see, children getting involved, carrying their learning in different subjects as well. And as teachers, we all want, our students to, at the end of the day, our teaching culminates into, some kind of an assessment. Now with Cambridge, it's always an ongoing assessment. I introduce the topic. I tune them into the new concept. I can just take a quiz. I can understand their learning, but sometimes oral understanding may not be very, concrete. So why not, written? So I just gave them, they were workbook exercises which they have done, where they have to circle the living and non-living thing, the home connection, just give them a, exit ticket, ask them to, just draw three things which is living, bring them, talk about that features, which way they have done in the class. There's in so many ways, not only pen and paper. You can ask them to get things from their home and, reflect, talk about, or you can do a worksheet. Our school always have a very concrete worksheets where we have levels for different, like how Ritu has told, so for, the progressive one, we have a very critical thinking question, which obviously we need to, trigger their knowledge. And so that's why we keep a very, difficult question for them. And those who are kinesthetic learners, who are, auditory learners and all, so for them, we have another way of assessing their knowledge, could be drawing, could be circling. Can you go next, Ritu, to the next slide? Yes, next slide. So that's the various way you can assess through a hands-on written worksheet, through, bringing something from the home, just showing this and telling them, what all is their living and non-living thing. So yeah, that's all. Just want to end this, with this beautiful quote. As a teacher, I always believe that we are human engineers. We are not only giving them, imparting them the right education, but at the same time, we are also helping them to, develop into a good human being. So let's inspiring our children, to embrace creativity with a lot of innovation, out of thinking technology, practices, learning with confidence and joy. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Hope you are filling there's a feedback form shared by uh, uh, ma'am, and kindly fill the feedback form. Over to ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
So much, ma'am, for sharing today's lessons with us. And I know it's very important to, have experiential learning in our classroom with respect to learning by doing. And I hope it will help those who are present today, and they will also share the message in the group as well, what they have learned in today's session. And thank you everyone once again for joining in today. And bye bye. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Yes.
you so
And
much.
keep exploring
Yes.
and
Do
keep
that.
inspiring. Remember your experience and bringing that in your class. Your lovely experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.